We have a special moment as we continue through our 2021 Stewardship campaign, Peace, Hope, and a Future. The logo and our verse for the campaign is, of course, on the front of the bulletin. And I want to recognize Carolyn Mathews, Chairman of the Pastor Nominating Committee, to share a few moments with us.
So recently, I received some change in my from a retail merchant that had some shiny silver quarters in it. And I looked at them closely because I do collect these. As many as you remember, there was the states and capitals that went along for many years ago, and now we're into the national parks, something near and dear to my heart. So knowing that the Federal Reserve is recognizing public lands, monuments, wilderness areas, I looked at these closely. And one caught my eye because it had a picture of a figure planting a tree. So I had to get a hand lens to really view the words on it, but land stewardship was right underneath the figure of the tree seedling. And as I looked closely around the top of it, it said Marsh Billings Rockefeller. I had to look that one up. I'd never heard of the Marsh Billings Rockefeller anything. So it apparently is a National Historic Park in Vermont. It's the only national park to tell the story of conservation history and of land stewardship in America. Today, the park is a living symbol of 3 generations who preserved, protected, and conserved forest land. We're gathered here in this building today that was built and supported by many generations before us, and we are the stewards today looking to sustain this faith community beyond tomorrow. I'm here with a progress report and to emphasize how the success of our stewardship campaign will carry forward into appropriate compensation for our staff and our new minister, and the continuation of our programs and projects. Most people do not give to support budgets. We give to support people and programs. I take to heart these words that are paraphrased from our campaign scripture from Jeremiah: the thoughts that I think towards you to give hope and a future. The Pastor Nominating Committee has felt the lift of your prayers in our work. The committee is working well together, being deliberate with review of applicants and moving along at a pretty good pace. Let me remind you of our members who are dedicating hours of their time to the process. The committee includes Judy Stern, Phil Mill, Jane Belt, Eric Ringler, Janet Hendershot, Josh Gilhart, Deb Hendrickson, Aaron Hendrickson, and myself. To date, our church has been matched with over 70 pastors who are searching for a call to another church via the Presbyterian Church Leadership Connection website. After a conscientious review, most of these applicants are eliminated. Our interest has narrowed to consider just a few as candidates. Audio conferencing is a reality of our lives these days of living in a public health crisis. All of us have learned to work, visit family, attend meetings, and socialize via one of the platforms available. So interviewing our candidates once or twice, viewing Zoom, is the next step in the process. We feel confident that we will have at least 2 viable candidates very soon, but after that, we might be stalled in our progress as the Advent season is upon us, and we've been told that pastors will most likely not want to travel here for face-to-face interviews during this very important part of the church season. So willingness to travel in a pandemic and to be away from their home pulpit will be up to God, but you can be sure that we will have plans in place to make rapid and big step forwards right after the first of the year. I was browsing various church websites and newsletters last week and saw an article highlighting an old post from the Alban Institute at the Duke Divinity School. The article was titled 10 Marks of a Healthy Church. Reading down the list, I believe that we are a very healthy church. We are mission-driven with a vision and a purpose beyond our walls. We respond to God's presence through our lives in worship, fellowship, and care for each other. We are a servant church with outreach to the local community and around the world. We are inclusive and make an effort for everyone to feel at home here. We understand conflict and manage it. We listen to the voices inside and outside our doors with flexibility to new people, new ideas, and new resources. We have leaders who lead and guide and are resources for others. We work at having direct and honest communication as we try very hard to avoid engaging in gossip. We explain what is effective, or we examine what is effective and don't continually recycle old programs. And finally, we value everyone's contributions of their gifts and talents and skills. We have much to offer our next pastor who looks to join us in what God has in store for this church. As we prayerfully consider what we have personally contributed to continue the work of our church, we know that our financial resources are a gift from God, which directly affects what we do and how well we do it. I didn't write the description and detailing the work of the PNC in the narrative budget, but it states very well what you have contributed to the process and how we are working to find this congregation's vitality and direction, and God is leading us. I quote, "Our motivation is in this congregation's vitality and the direction God is leading us. We look forward to a future of new opportunities, new challenges, new missions, and new experiences." And just go back to that tree that was on the quarter. Back in 2000, whatever it was, we celebrated the 250th anniversary of our church. And I know Bob Courtney had a big job in planting a ginkgo tree outside at the end of the driveway. So as you're leaving today, look at that glorious golden-leafed ginkgo tree at the end of the driveway and just think of the golden leaves that are there on it. And that's an ancient type of tree that is here to represent our many, many years as a vital congregation. So please continue to keep us and our work in your prayers, and also pray that God is whispering in the ear of our next pastor, "It's time to move to the mountains of Maryland." Blessed be the tie that binds our hearts in Christian love. Thank you for your faith in us, and please support our efforts with your generous pledge to First Presbyterian. Thank you.